Right, yeah.
Do we have any Navy veterans in the room?
Navy. I don't think we're Navy. We're Army.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, Army and Air Force. Army, yeah, Army and Air Force. Steve,
Hey,
what-
Joy, if you don't mind, can we get if they don't mind also to name and address? We'd love to send them some cool swag.
Sure,
The
absolutely.
military team.
Will do.
Even though they're not Navy, we'll still do it. Well, I appreciate everybody's time today. My name is Brian Burjans. I am I got the honor and privilege of leading a great team of folks on the corporate side that gets to support all our JV partners about military and veteran lending. I've actually been in the mortgage business for 22 years. I've been in the Navy this month, 20 years, believe it or not. So all I've known my adult life is mortgage and military. So the fact that I still got hair on my head is a shocker to me today. I have my two team members with me, Brittany Bacher right there and Michelle Crumley. Brittany, why don't you tell everybody about yourself?
Okay, so I'm Brittany Bacher. I've been the National Director of Military Engagement for almost 6 years. I'm a military spouse of 18 years. And I've pretty much dedicated all of my adult life to serving military families and now taking it into homeownership, helping military and veteran families achieve the dream of homeownership. I try to stay as connected as possible in the military space, supporting strategic partners and organizations to make sure we're addressing all of the barriers that are preventing our military and veterans from getting into their home, their dream home, the first home. And now I will pitch to Michelle.
Hi, everyone, and happy Tuesday, Monday. I am a 30-year Navy spouse, now retired Navy spouse of 31 years, with a little over 21 years now in the military, in the lending space, with a focus on military since I grew up in the military. Why not focus on the military? So it has been a huge passion of mine to bring education to our veteran and military communities, to help them understand all of their options, ensure that they are making the best choices for themselves, and now on a larger scale, being able to do that as the Director of VA Education and Policy here at NewRez.
Okay, so to table set this presentation, just to give the room a little bit a flavor of this. So we have built our model around education and community engagement. And that is the best form of business development for folks that are looking to support this demographic. We've had a unique blend of this for about the last 8 years. And it works really, really well. One thing about the military demographic is they're all about designations. They're all about education. They're all about training. And they're also all about helping each other, rolling your sleeves up, getting involved. So for the next 10, 15 minutes, we're going to walk you through some what would seem to be really easy things to do today to start attracting and basically saying you're open for this type of business. And then we'll open it up to Q&A. So if we could just start the presentation, that'd be great. So I don't have to see my face anymore.
Laura says there's no sound on the Zoom call.
Anybody else on Zoom? I know, who else is on Zoom?
I mean, I can hear.
You guys can hear?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Laura, just check maybe if your mute is on, because the other people on Zoom can hear.
Everybody else says.
If she can't hear, you're gonna need to send a message.
Yeah, everybody else is on there so they can hear. It might be her computer.
Did we lose Brian?
Oh, I'm here.
Oh.
I am here. All right, let's go second slide, please. There we go. So business development through outreach, education, engagement and education, like we mentioned before, we have a unique approach. That's why Brittany and Michelle are both on this call today. Brittany has done a very good job of outlining opportunities for all our partners across the United States with local organizations to get involved. And it's amazing how much you can attract our veteran and military communities through the simple act of kindness and getting involved in the community. I will let Brittany, you want to go ahead and walk through some strategies around community engagement?
Yes. So I encourage everyone in our industry to put their volunteer time, any of the dollars that they have to spend and invest in the community, to put it in to the community that you want to do business with. So if military and veterans is a top demographic that you want to serve through your business, then that is where I say go put your effort in. There's local organizations and also national organizations that you can connect with. Most of us want to connect though with an organization that's in our backyard. So you want to be able to connect with a nonprofit organization that's serving our military and veterans, and it makes sense to work with an organization that is part of the community of homeownership. So for instance, last year we did a community needs assessment and we determined there were 5 areas of interest that were preventing military and veterans from home ownership. That started with employment and went to family readiness, financial readiness, housing and relocation, and mental health, which mental health should probably be at the top, because if a veteran or someone within the military family is struggling with mental health, that's going to impact employment. Employment's going to impact their ability to purchase. It also is going to impact their financial readiness, their family readiness, that gets us back to housing and relocation. And so we've identified those 5 core areas, which is where we invest in the community, into organizations that support those 5 pillars. So thinking about organizations that do employment, so Association of Military Spouse Entrepreneurs, Hiring Our Heroes, organizations like that are helping veterans transition out of the military, but they're also helping military spouses transition through employment, which right now military spouses have a 26% unemployment rate. So being able to support that type of effort in the community is specifically addressing an issue that's preventing the demographic you want to serve from achieving homeownership. We can mimic that through all 5 pillars and find organizations to put our efforts into, build that community engagement relationship, and through that that giving and the time and whatever it is that you can give to that organization, you're gaining referrals, you're gaining organic business, trust in the community, and expanding that network. And so we've done this over the last 8 years. We've seen it work successfully and on every account. And we've been able to mimic that in pretty much every market nationwide.
You know, one of the things too to think about, and it's a nice little bullet on there, is 75% of military and veterans do business by word of mouth. So if anybody's relocating into that marketplace, they probably already identified who they're going to be talking to from a referral perspective. And this is why your social presence, your online presence needs to suggest that you're open for business when it comes to military and veteran demographic. And I would challenge everybody in the room right now to take a look at your online profiles. Does anything even state that, you know, whether you're military friendly, you support military organizations, or you're a veteran, your family served, grandpa served, mom served, whoever, because any of that additional information could be that one little thing that gets that veteran or military member to pick you. I've spoken to a lot of military and veteran customers over the years, and it's funny because they will go online and check out someone that's being referred to them, Google them and see, And a lot of times it's just one little thing that gets them to connect that says, hey, you know what? My grandpa was in the Marine Corps. They served in the Marine Corps. I'm going to go down this direction. So,
And
go ahead.
I was going to piggyback on that on the social footprint, because this is a no cost to you. This is the freebie. It is like your social platform, whether that's your website, your social media channels, wherever there is information about you. One, I would Google search your name and see what comes up, see where your information is, what pictures are coming up from you, what articles are out there on the web that have your name associated with it, so that you can get that identity. If someone were to go put your name in, what are they seeing? That's number one. Two, it's then going in and looking at that military veteran centric language and saying, what do you have in there? And if you're sitting in the room right now and you say, I'm not I'm not associated with the military, I'm not a veteran, I'm not a spouse, I didn't come from a military family, all of that's okay. Are you a patriotic supporter? Are you someone that says, I want to do more than say thank you for your service? This is how I thank you for your service. I want to help you get a home. I want to help you get into, the best home for your family, to be, set up building generational wealth through your home, and put that into your social platform, into your bio. It's going to help your SEO. It's going to optimize you. And they're going to see, okay, this is a military friendly person. And so this is the free thing that you can do right outside of the gate. And I'll use an example, and then I'm going to pitch over to Michelle. But here in Arkansas, where I'm located, I had a military spouse who became a realtor. And I met her several years ago, and we helped create a community engagement plan for her. She wanted to become the military VA, gal in, Central Arkansas. And she did. And what she did is she used her background as a military spouse to create a website that she was able to, I think it said PCS to the Rock, which is Permanent Change of Station, for those of you who don't know, to the Rock. So military families would find this website. This website had information about where do you get your haircut? Where do you take your kids? Where's the best place for dinner? Day trips, just all the information that a military family would want to know about moving to that area. So this website cost her maybe $250. It was like one of those ones you could build yourself. Put all the information out there. You fast forward to today, I've actually purchased 2 homes through her. And my last home that I purchased, I was closing, and that month she was closing 28 other properties. If you go on the military Little Rock website today, you see families moving in saying, hey, we're moving. Her name's going to be listed 99 of 100 comments, because she has built that presence simply through her social platform, going outside of the box, building a website that provided information that demographic needed, that they weren't getting elsewhere. So Michelle, I'll kick it over to you.
Absolutely. And think about what your posts say, and are you giving individuals a reason to listen? One of my favorite stories is a individual that really, this was the sandbox they wanted to play in. This was their community. They set up so that once a month they went live, a live Facebook Live event, interviewing a local veteran-owned company, business, that they were introducing to their followers, and that their followers were learning about and meeting the head shed of this business that was in their community that they could go and visit and meet. So again, had nothing to do with let's do a loan together, or let me sell or help you buy a house, but just finding ways to connect with the community that put them first. Being able to speak their language, as Brittany said, and Brian, you don't have to be from a military background. Now, 75%, again, want to work with people that they know, they like, they trust. Do you speak the language? So do you speak the military phonetic alphabet? So that when you are providing over the phone, what my last name is spelled, C is in Charlie, R is in Romeo, are you using things that let them know that you get them? I think that's really important. So what your profiles say about you, don't use the little vanilla profiles that come with your website, or that you just stuck something out there on Facebook or LinkedIn, but really put some thought about who you are, who you're trying to reach, and that hook that will help someone say, yes, I can trust this person, they get me, and I want to listen to what they say.
You know, and there's also too some opportunities for you to take some additional education around helping this demographic as well. Obviously you got the MRP class you can do, but then there's a couple other ones, CBLS and MHVC, correct, Michelle?
Yes.
That's out there. Michelle, why don't you talk to the folks a little bit about the two classes that you that you support?
Absolutely. So if you will move this forward, I think the next page was on community engagement, which Brittany has already talked about, really finding out what's going in and on in your backyard and getting involved. You don't have to get involved in everything. Pick one or two organizations and go deep. That's where the magic happens and where you start to make inroads in those relationships and being seen as that expert. And then if you'll move to the next page, that is where we were talking about kind of getting that education, right? Being that knowledge expert, being seen as that SME in your realm, right? So that people are coming to you. People, whether it's through Facebook, whether it is through the organizations that you've gotten involved in, but you've taken the time to get knowledgeable. So we do, as Brian mentioned, VA rep, and I know they're in the Atlanta area. Go Dogs, by the way. Yes. They're in the Atlanta area. The VA rep chapter there has been very, very active. That's the Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals. And they actually have a number of designation and certification classes that they offer, from military and veteran housing certification, where you actually, I think it's like an 8-hour class, where you actually go and you deep dive more into the VA loan itself and being that expert so that you can talk to a listing agent about why they should say yes to our veterans, right? And so that when you're talking to your clients, again, you're showing that you get them and you understand and can help them. Duty to Serve is another VA rep class that is out there. We are coming out with, VA rep is coming out with a military and veteran lender certification as well, that even goes deeper into the VA loan. So there are so many ways. We offer a PCS class. So if you've never been in the military and you've never had to go through a PCS, we can talk to you about what that experience is like. And along the spectrum of that time frame, what's available that you can do to make that a much easier move and transition from one base to another. So there are a lot of classes that are out there in a lot of different ways. Reaching out to your guaranteed loan officer that can reach out to our team, you reaching out to our team, we can help put you in touch with some of the local organizations there. But really, again, delving in, becoming that SME, working on being that known resource in your community is huge.
And I would
And then, oh, go ahead, Brittany.
No, I was going to just add on that community engagement slide. There are opportunities for you to kind of see what's going on in your backyard. Utilizing free websites like Eventbrite and putting in your zip code and the keyword military or veteran, you're able to see what events are happening locally in your area, in your backyard. You're also able to see if your competitors are doing something like a VA boot camp class. If they're putting on some kind of town hall or education event, you're able to see what's happening. Most people use Eventbrite because it is free and it's a great way for them to be able to register people for their events. And then I would also highly encourage you to reach out to your local Chamber of Commerce and find out if there's a veteran or military affair, chair within the Chamber of Commerce, because they're able to let you know any information about that particular demographic, anything going on within the area. They usually have committees and put on events. And so those are two opportunities for you right off the bat to kind of see what's going on. Okay, Brian, sorry.
No, all good stuff. And then also too, and if you really want, if nothing really, just jumps out at you, we can always put together training for you. That's an easy thing for us to do. And put together training specific to your market, the demographic within your market, et cetera, which would be really helpful. Also, two Facebook groups. I know we didn't really touch too much on those, but there's some pretty powerful Facebook groups out there, and I'm pretty sure that you probably have a bunch in your own backyard that support military and veteran home ownership. So I would strongly encourage you to check those out. I know mostly across the United States, a lot of action happens on these Facebook groups, especially the spouse ones. They do a lot of deals through those groups. And then also too, May and November are obviously two huge months when it comes to supporting the military. So I would, if you really want to start getting involved in that, this year, then give yourself some time, maybe look at what's going on in the local market in May, and then also take a look in November. That way you give yourself some time between events to really do some well thought out, community engagement and efforts. And then also too, everybody loves service dogs. So, and I know there's some great organizations around that provide service dogs, and everybody can get behind service dogs. It doesn't matter if you're active duty military or veterans, and everybody loves pets. So,
And just to give them a little freebie here, Brian, to give you guys on, I have a cheat sheet calendar of the year of military things that are recognized in the military space. So coming up in April is Month of the Military Child, and it's also Military Saves Month and Financial Literacy Month. So there's an opportunity for you to be able to do something where you can tie both of those together, maybe honoring like military kids and doing something with, piggy banks or savings or, talking about that. But on the military saves and financial literacy piece, there's opportunity for you to push out, education about home ownership and in regards to, savings and, being long-term financial investment. In May, which Brian talked about, Military May is what we coin it ourselves. It is the month that is packed with the most recognition. You have Month of the Military Caregiver. You have Armed Forces Day, which is recognizing our active service members who are currently serving. You have Military Spouse Appreciation Day, and you have Memorial Day, all in the month of May. So there's a lot of opportunity for you to engage with that particular demographic. And then you kind of skip down into September, we get into National Service Dog Awareness Month, Suicide Prevention, Gold Star Mother's Day. And then in November, we have Month of the Military Family, Veterans Day, and Giving Tuesday Military. So those are just some things to keep on your radar. You are more than welcome to reach out to us, and we can provide you a detailed list of January through December, kind of a cheat sheet so that you can have that. It's also good for you to do your social media around those posts, have posts specific to the things happening each of those months.
And one last thing. So when we do these, a lot of times folks will go, well, we don't have a lot of active duty bases or active duty military around. Well, post 9/11, the reserve community has been, has been used significantly for 20 plus years. And what you don't know is there are a lot of National Guard and Reserve citizen soldiers amongst everybody. It's probably your neighbor. It could be your mailman. I mean, it can be the person you see at CVS. And so don't, put the blinders on just to think that this should be just around active duty. You have a lot of reservists, you have a lot of guardsmen and women, and then you have your veteran community. So you have three big buckets that you can support through. And then of course, obviously military spouses. So just word of caution on that, because, in Missouri where I live, a lot of people always say, well, we don't have a lot of active duty, big bases. We have 2 across the whole state, but we have so many reservists throughout the state and so many reserve centers that, there is a lot of military here. So
And Brian, just to back
that's all.
up that, I can give you some data before we go, because I know you're a data guy. So right now in the United States, there's a total of 21 million military, veteran, guard, and reserve. 18 million are veterans, 1.3 million are active duty, 799,000 are guard, and we have just under 600,000 that are reserve. So that's kind of the demographic that you have across the nation. So it's a big number, 21 million that, you know, qualify in that category.
That's it. What we got? Some Q&A here?
Yes. If I have questions. I actually have one. When you first started off, you listed out 5 things. I only got the first 3. Which were employment, financial readiness, mental health was one. What were the other 2?
So it's employment, financial readiness, family readiness, housing and relocation is together, and then mental health is 5.
Thank you.
And so just to give an idea right now, so the Department of Defense put out in 2023, 25% of military families and veterans were facing food insecurity. So that falls within our not only financial readiness, but family readiness components. So there's an opportunity to engage in that conversation that's happening right now. You also have around housing and relocation, you have the DoD and legislators talking about military families staying on assignment at one location for a longer period of time in order to help with retention efforts, children not moving schools as much. So that time on station will afford them to stay in a home longer, which would make more people want to invest in a home. There's also other things with relocation happening right now in the DoD with contractors on actually moving the families, and we stay really on top of those topics. So that's part of that housing and relocation piece. I also find it very interesting when polling the community, when you talked about the 5 things preventing home ownership, inventory and pricing did not come up in the top 5. Even though we know those 2 things are issues, to the military family, those were not the issues preventing them. These were other factors. It was childcare issues. It was employment was huge, because right now most people need 2 incomes to purchase. That's the market that we're in. And so when we have military spouse unemployment sitting at 26%, it makes it pretty challenging for these families to make that investment. So those are just the 5 core initiatives that have come up, and there's a lot of organizations out there like Military Family Advisory Network, MOA, Blue Star Families, that are all doing surveys annually to try to track this information and data. And I highly encourage you to look at minimum at the Blue Star Families annual survey, because that survey gives you all types of information, all the way down to military families that are active stating they don't feel accepted in the communities that they live. So if a military family is moving to an area and they don't feel connected to that community, the likelihood of them wanting to purchase in that community significantly reduces, because they're not willing to make that investment in a place where they don't feel connected with their community. So there's so many things that we can do from a community engagement standpoint to help with those and combat those issues that we identify in the space.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Questions?
Hey, Brittany, this is Joy. Will you send me that monthly calendar?
Yes.
A couple of people have texted me about that already. So if you would send that, that would be great.
I will get that to you today.
Thank you. Thank you guys for coming today or being on Zoom. Really
We'd much
appreciate it.
rather have been in person, but this is the second best thing.
Yes.
Yeah, no, we really appreciate it. Absolutely.
Do you guys have a better insight on like some of the things that you can do? Okay.
And
Yeah.
before we go, I do want to, Michelle is amazing at doing market reviews, and can you touch just a minute, Michelle, on what you're able to do in the capacity and how that can really help them? That's a more deep dive further down that you would have to contact us, but
So that is one of our favorite things to do, and that's really taking a look at in your area. So in the zip codes around where you are, in those counties, what is the opportunity? And then taking a look at how have we captured that opportunity, or how have you guys captured that opportunity? And then really taking a look at what are some of those specific things that you can do that really start allowing you. We've touched the tip of the iceberg today, but really start delving into, what are the plethora of things that you can do? And then how do you start narrowing that down and being strategic and focused on those activities that will help make a difference? So it starts really broad. What's the opportunity? What's been captured? How then can you work at capturing additional opportunities, increasing that market share, and then really kind of into the weeds of how you do that. How do you set up that business plan in response to the opportunity?
Awesome. Let me ask you this. So Michelle, since that's kind of your niche, would
Mhm.
you be willing to do like a follow-up class that we could just do a mastermind around? You could do deep dive and I could provide you ahead of time, like our zip codes for our surrounding counties and that sort of thing to really kind of get the information to get a jump start on that?
Absolutely. And as we get through this week, I'll be able to take a look at schedules. We're kind of all matching our schedules up.
Okay.
Would love to do that in person. And I am born and raised North Georgia girl. So anytime I get the opportunity to be back at home in my roots, I love it. I would love to be there in person and do it.
Okay, no, that'd be
That'd be
great. Yeah,
great.
just we'll try to work around your calendar if you're gonna be on our side of our side of the US. Yeah, down south, we'd love to have you. That would be great and give people that really want to deep dive as their lead gen platform would just give them some deeper information on that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
May
you.
I